When your client wants to sell their home over its value and your recommendation, you know you're But with today's content strategy, we are going to build tons of value and show that this home is worth more than you think. Low-cost products sell for high price points all the time. If you look at the footwear industry, and specifically Nike, they can make a pair of shoes for $20 and then sell them for hundreds of dollars. And the reason they can do this is they have a great marketing strategy that creates tons of value. When I was a kid, I saved up for months to buy a pair of Charles Barkley Nike basketball shoes. Now, I didn't play basketball and they didn't make me cool, but I sure felt cool wearing them, and money was no object in the pursuit of being cool. And in case you're wondering, the answer is no, I'm still not cool, but maybe next year. When it comes to real estate, we all know the situation. You have a client that values their home more than the market value. And this could be for a number of different reasons, whether it's an emotional connection, it could be renovations that they have done, it could be crazy bidding wars that they've heard of, or it could be that they just need to get a specific dollar amount so that they can buy their next home. The problem is, it doesn't matter what the client wants, it's what the market dictates. This is a tough situation because you can either turn it down and lose out on an opportunity, or the more likely scenario where you take the listing, it sits on the market for a couple of months and doesn't sell, your sellers get super stressed out and call you every single day until they fire you, hire another agent who then drops the price to what you originally recommended, and then the house sells, but you lose money, time, and your sanity. If you're going to take on this listing, we need to show that there is so much value that the price seems low. And the way that we are going to do that is with a ton of content, a list of benefits, and a story to tie it together. One major issue with most listings is there just isn't enough information to convince the buyer that they need this home, and this is especially true of overpriced listings. In sales, it typically takes 7 to 10 touches before a buyer says yes, so if you aren't creating multiple pieces of content, you're losing out on opportunities to create more value. What you want to do is create more content to highlight the full value of the property. The more value that you can stack, the more likely the buyer is to see that it is a great offer. Just think of the old late night infomercials and all the extra stuff they threw into the package. You could get not only one knife, but 2 knives, a cutting board, a case of beer, and a tomato, all for the price of 1 knife. Now, who could say no to that offer? And to be honest, a lot of people couldn't. What you want to do is make these features individual posts so they are highlighted properly, and this will help you stack value and get your 7 to 10 touches. This is much better than one long video or Facebook post covering everything, because at that point it's information overload and the buyer will forget the details and they won't see the total value of the listing. The second problem you'll run into is not showing enough value. Now, I just mentioned talking about as many features as possible to show value, but this still might not be enough. And the reason is because people don't buy features, they buy benefits. So the pool and spa are great features, but buyers might not be able to see the real value of owning them. But when it's presented as a gathering spot for summer parties and lifelong memories, that's hard to say no to. And for me personally, the thought of waking up and having a nice brunch by the pool, drinking mimosas, this really speaks to me. And if you present it the right way, it will speak to your buyers too. What you need to do is figure out all the benefits of the features and present those to the buyers, which will increase value. And once again, stack as many benefits as you can, because unlike my dating profile, every listing has tons of value, so get creative and get buyers excited. To do this, use any marketing tool that will help highlight the benefits. So for example, if your listing backs onto a beautiful forest, make sure to use drone shots to show that there is nothing but peace and quiet behind you. Or an image of a pool with some wine glasses, a wine bottle, and a beautiful sunset is going to scream relaxation. The third problem that you are going to face is the buyers don't have an emotional connection to your listing. Now, this could be a problem that you can face even with a listing that isn't overpriced, but if the buyer doesn't have an emotional connection to the listing, they aren't going to be interested. What you need to do is create a story that connects with buyers. Now, if you look at the footwear industry and the company Tom's, and yes, I have noticed that I can only make reference to footwear companies, Tom's makes shoes that I'd say are nice. They don't necessarily stand out to me amongst the other footwear companies, but that was up until I found out that every pair of shoes that you buy, they will donate a pair of shoes to a needy person. So this went from an average footwear company that I didn't really think about too much to a company where I know that if I'm buying a pair of shoes, I'm doing something good for the world. This is a footwear company that could have easily gotten lost in the sea of footwear companies, but they have a great story and that helps them stand out. To create your own story, you need to pick a theme and then use the benefits of the listing to reinforce it. So for example, if you have a pool, a hot tub, and a beautifully landscaped yard, to me, the story is relaxing with family and friends. Life can be exhausting, so to be able to maximize fun at home with family and friends is priceless. Now, if the home is in a great neighborhood with parks, schools, and shopping, the story is convenience. Once again, you can use any marketing tool here, but I would recommend video because the mix of audio and video at the same time does a far better job at creating an emotional connection with the buyer. Great salespeople are great storytellers, so get creative and tell buyers about their dream home and their dream future. So to wrap up, if you want to take on an overpriced listing, you need to show that there is more value in the home than the asking price. What you need to do is show as many features as possible to stack value. You need to show the benefits of the listing, as that's what buyers really want, and you need to tie it into a story to make an emotional connection. If the buyer is truly in love with the house, they will find a way to make it their home. Thank you very much for watching the video today, and if you want to stay ahead of your competition, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can get amazing real estate marketing tips and advice first. And always remember, stand out, sell more, and rebel against bad marketing. I'll see you in the next one.